All right. Morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this panel on the world of L2, Explain, Scaling the Future of Blockchain. I'm going to start off with a very, very brief introduction, and then we'll actually dig into what is Layer 2 and everything about the deeper insights about L2. I'll start off with Shun here, if you want to start off with your introduction.
Good morning, guys. My name is Shun Ishikawa. I'm CEO at Asta Foundation. Asta Network is a leading blockchain protocol in Japan. So Asta is working together with big enterprises, companies like Sony, Toyota, and we recently make an announcement with Polygon Labs so that we will launch the new Ethereum Layer 2 powered by Polygon using the Polygon CDK. So we will basically launch Ethereum Layer 2 like really soon. So and then I'm basically based in Amsterdam, Netherlands, but obviously I'm originally from Japan. I'm looking forward to talking with you guys.
And Calvary?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Calvary from Mantle. So a little bit background about myself. So I've been in the industry for quite like 8 years, and focus on marketing, community strategy, like some project financing as well. And at Mantle, I help them on like the APAC regions and specifically on the Chinese-speaking regions where we help them on the growth and also partnership as well. So as this is an L2 panel, just take a chance to show about our recent developments and updates, where we have a mental journey and also a mental moonshot campaign, where you can just go and search about it. That like we provide some token incentives and also ecosystem rewards for users and protocols to get a try on our L2s. So thank you.
And then Derek?
Hello, everyone. My name is Derek. I'm a COO of a company called Lightscale. We're making Chroma, which is a layer 2 on top of Ethereum, like everyone else here. I'm in charge of business and operation of the company. Just a bit more about the Chroma project. We're based in Korea mostly, and one of the differentiating factors for us is that we have a mother company called WeMade. It's a gaming company. It's been around more than 20 years in the gaming industry. That's why we are focused on gaming from the start. And here we are.
Amazing. And then last but not least, C1?
Yeah, hi. I'm C1, so I'm the head of growth of Sys Lab. So different from all these guys is that Sys Lab is a venture studios of Syscoin. So if you know, Syscoin is based in Bitcoin rather than Ethereum. So Sys Lab is a venture studio that actually is created to actually to incubate actually projects that solve real world problems and pain points actually for based on Syscoin and to grow the ecosystem of Syscoin. So up to date we have incubated more than 8 projects to solve to address problems from different areas like Mada, Pachera, Roblox, Dalsys, and Pegasus, so that you guys could build the layer 2 on top of a security provided by Bitcoins. Yeah. So if you guys want to know more about Syscoins, I mean, we can talk about it later. Yeah.
Amazing. And my name is Kelvin, like the temperature. I'm a product manager at Coinbase, and specifically my product is on USDC for institutionals, but I also help out with Base, which also happens to be a layer 2 project. So with that said, I'll start off with just a really quick refresher on what exactly L2 is. So layer 2 is, in summary, it refers to any off-chain network systems or technology built on top of a layer 1 network of blockchain. So you think of layer 1 as your Bitcoins or your Ethereums or Solanas, and then layer 2 are any sort of technology or tokens or anything that's built kind of on top of the layer 1 blockchain and somehow scales or make the original blockchain better in some way. So some famous examples of layer 2 includes Optimism and Base on the Ethereum network, and also Lightning network, which is on the Bitcoin blockchain. some benefits to highlight here is lower fees and more utilities while inheriting the security of the underlying blockchain. So that's a key note here, that you're not giving up that security of the underlying blockchain, but you are just helping it become better. So this enables new ways of scale, which just happens to be our conference theme. And that is actually the first question I have for all of our panelists here. What current layer 2 technology are you most excited about, and how does it enable scaling? We'll start off with C1 at the end there.
Yep, so I think there's a lot of excitement today about L2. So for SysLab, we are particularly interested in the recent advancement of data availability, which I would now say DA, I mean, it's a mouthful. So that actually enable rollups to deliver scalability and security, right? On the side note, of course, the ZK technology that actually enable cross-chain communications, yeah. So, but on this question, I'll talk more about data availability, right, DA. So we are particularly interested recently in a new protocol, the PODA, which is a proof of data availability, which we actually integrate into one of our projects, the Rollups, which is a optimistic rollup EVM. So for it, what it does is that with that, actually, it lets the Rollups inherit 60% of the security of Bitcoin miners, actually, with the addition of the decentralized finality of Syscoin. So essentially, it's actually POW with POS, but the POS is not mandatory, so it's an addition. So to it, so what's the advantage actually? So what it does is that actually it gets rid of the need for sharding, and then also it lower the cost of the security for layers 2 using the security provided by layer 1.
The three things I'm excited about, well, it's not layer 2 technology, but it's proto-dank sharding. So the reason why I'm excited about the proto-dank sharding is that still, I believe layer 2 has a lot to do in terms of lowering gas fees and making everything faster. I mean, I'm talking to a lot of games out there. Still, latency is always the problem, and high gas fee is still the problem, and they don't want to deal with the gas price going up when there's everyone's wanting to use the network. So if that comes into life, it's going to be much easier for all the layer 2s out there to have faster network and cheaper gas fees. And when you come to think of it, the origin and the birth of the layer 2 itself is all about the scalability. It exists to scale up the Ethereum network. That's the whole purpose. Well, so by definition, we would like to have lower gas fees in the future. So that's why I'm always up for, I'm excited for the proto-dank sharding.
Yep. So I think it's quite interesting that we can see quite a lot of new layer 2s coming up and we're deploying, and especially in recent days. And we have quite a different strategies towards building a layer 2 here, even among our panelist friends. And on Mantle, like of course, as a representative of Mantle, then I'm quite excited about what we are building in the layer 2, where we aim to build like a best-in-class native yield platform for all kinds of users, and to power it, we support different initiatives and build it to be hyper-scalable, Ethereum-based, of course, layer 2. And with our support into our own liquid staking layers, then we can unlock some of more utilities on the underlying assets, and also to empower the liquid staking features as well. Like, I'll just go a little bit more technical on what we are building, that we are more on the modular designs and to adopt on our processing layers, and also focus, as other panelists also mentioned, the data availability, the status validations and transactions, where settlements, and also we also use kind of the threshold signature scheme. So sorry about going too technical. And we, in short, we shorten the transaction challenge period in the optimistic rollups, and also we partner with EigenLayer to empower our data availability layer, whereas an optimistic rollup layer 2, where we are meant to enable the scalability as well with the transaction, which is of course to batch into finality. And where with the support of the eigenlayer technology, then we also enhance the scalability even furthermore. Like from sequencers and also to, as mentioned, the threshold signature scheme that we are adopting. And with the data availability layer, that each of the sections as a modular blockchain, that they are separate into a specific module, where it becomes like Legos who build together and become a modular structure and enhance the effectiveness of the system. And also, we don't need to hard fork when we want to upgrade the entire network. Well, we also provide some feasibility to upgrades. For example, if we want to integrate StatGate features or other new technology that would be suitable for a network and user experience, then we'll put it together as well. Yeah. Thank you.
So, based on my experience in the ECC's parties this year, every project, I would say every infra project is talking about which layer 2 tech stack will become popular, either ZK EVM or OP stack. Then, then I would say ZK EVM will become more a thing next year because everyone is put some stake or expectation for ZK technology itself. Then ZK itself is like, it's not perfect yet, or it's not like mature yet, but it's already enough to be used in the live mainnet. So then still a lot of research and development resources are used for the ZK technology, for the ZK EVM. And then obviously, without EVM equivalency or compatibility, we cannot see any of the use cases. So that is why ZK EVM should be the stuff next year. And then the recent activity of the modular or the like Polygon CDK, that kind of scaling will allow scaling of the Ethereum by like use case basis or regional basis. So as the ZK EVM is more for East Asia here, like mainly Japan, but as well as Korea, and then we're scaling Ethereum adoption among enterprises. So this kind of like creating like development kit or modular allows scaling Ethereum by like how can I say, like category basis. Then so it's really tough to imagine like having one solution will enabling entire scaling, but this kind of action is for sure and steadily allowing Ethereum to scale.
Thanks. And here's a question that I think from the conversation I'm kind of curious about. It sounds like we have a lot of kind of different representation in terms of countries here. Japan, and then in Korea, and then just all over the world. And one question I've always been kind of curious about is, do you guys think there is specific kind of areas of L2s that is more popular in certain regions than others? And anyone can go ahead first, but it's something that I've always think about, where it almost feels like in certain, like maybe Asia, they care more about gas fees, or they care more about X, Y, and Z, maybe gaming, versus in the US, it's more about other things. So yeah, curious to hear if you guys have any thoughts on the differences in terms of regional usage of L2.
Yeah, maybe I will start. Let's say in Japan, layer 2 is not popular yet, even for Optimism or Arbitrum. And then that is why Aster ZK-VM is trying to be the layer 2 in Japan, and then trying to be Korea as well. So this kind of like business approach will also make sense in the layer 2 adoption as well. Like without the business distribution, no ecosystem can be expanded. So that is why, for sure, layer 2 will be differentiated in each countries or areas. Yeah.
I can only speak for Korea because I was born and raised there. But the way I see it is that I'm not sure you guys are familiar with the Korean ecosystem, game ecosystem specifically. The Koreans are pretty good at playing games. There are a lot of games coming out. Everyone's playing games, mobile games, web games, whatever. So when it comes to layer two, not because we're game-centric, but we're focused on meeting gamers, game countries, and like I said, for games, latency is the issue. I mean, it has to be really fast. If you shoot someone in the game, the person has to die. And if the latency is a problem, it's not. The game doesn't work. But like I said, Korea is famous for gaming. They have a problem with latency, and the layer 2 is there to help out. So that's the thing. That's the trend I see in Korea.
Sorry. Yeah, in my experience is that I think it's a lot based on community actually, because like a lot of projects when they consider like which L2 to use actually is based on how big the community of their target audience they're looking at. So I think a lot of I think they could be split into two. I mean those that is like game and content, they actually needs a layer 2 that provide the most the biggest community that really of their target audience. If project that is based on technology and the and sort of infrastructures, I think they are more creative, and then they could actually try to create a new one or actually use something that they believe is more technologically advanced. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in general, like on the L2 competition, it's still kind of at the early stages, in my opinion, where we see different kind of use cases and people goes for their specific reasoning and their demand. And for example, it's like gaming. And like on Mental, we also kind of have collaborate a lot quite with gaming studios, and especially we can see significant gaming coming out other than Korea, as also from Japan as well, which we can see a growing demand, especially in gaming sector, which is really interesting to see the L2 have more adoption on that side.
Thank you. And I think digging deeper into what Derek was saying about like the gaming side of the world, I think I've heard whispers that layer 3 people are like developing layer 3. I know there's people talking about layer 3 perhaps as a privacy layer or something like that. Do you guys anticipate, or I guess it's more of a future looking question, that L2 reaches a day that will require an additional layer to even scale it further? Or do you think it's more about developing what we have as L2 right now, that L3 or something like that is not necessary in the future? And anyone can go.
Because you mentioned my name, I'm going to go first. Layer 3, yes. There's going to be a lot of tries in the ecosystem where because they need more lower gas fees and faster network. But the thing is, I mean, one of the obstacles that layer 2 has to overcome is the interoperability between the layer 1 and the layer 2. And going with layer 3, that's another complication there. And yes, we're going to try. Yes, there's going to be a lot of people trying to solve that problem going to layer 3, but without solving what's out there, one of the biggest obstacles, interoperability, I think personally it's going to be very difficult because there's going to be another fragmentation in terms of user experience. So yeah, that's my perspective. Well, it's going to be there, but it's going to be very difficult to really implement it in the real world.
My opinion is similar to Derek, is that we haven't explored all the solution available or tools out there to solve the pain point that we have with layer 2. I mean, like layer 3 is just a concept, right? So it's actually a way to put like some problems that they think layer 2 could not solve, but actually could be. I mean, there's a lot of ways like, I mean, one of the biggest problem probably we'll be discussing later on is inter-chain kinds of communications. I think there's, and privacy, I think that is one of the biggest issue that I think we're trying to solve other than the latency part actually,
Cool. I think the next question I have originally was just generally about the future, but I think I want to break it down a little bit deeper. specifically, it seems like right now we're entering an age where almost everyone is coming up with some sort of new L2 implementation. Coinbase was recently entered with Base, and then it sounds like Kraken wants to build their own L2 too. So I think the question of interoperability is something that was brought up today, and it sounds like it's something that we need to solve for. So my question is, how do you guys anticipate in the future the play out of these L2 competing with each other? I think one idea and one theory is that one day we'll reach this super chain idea where maybe multi-chain no longer become a huge problem because we have so many solutions for it thanks to L2. So curious to hear how you guys think about these like L2s popping up left and right, and what's the future state that we're going to get to for the world of L2?
Maybe I'll take it first. I think it's always two direction, right? One is that one ring rule them all, right? So like all the other L2 dies and one L2 survive, which is not the spirit of blockchain, right? Yeah. So I think more be developing a cross-chain kind of a communication that works. So for cross-chain to actually work, I mean, there's two important factors: is integrity and security, right? So how do you make all the chain work? I mean, the biggest problem is that if one of the chain, I mean, experience a reorg in the whole ecosystem, I mean, if there's no good architecture, it will be very disaster. It will be a disaster actually. So actually, one way that we believe in SysLab is that we use it's using ZK, right? Now, this where ZK come to the rescues, and a multi-DA, data availability. So it's like a ZK-like client combined with DA, and then you can actually have multi-DA, so you can actually have different layers to cross-chain communication between different layers tools, or even different layers tools with different layer ones, actually, using like a lightweight ZK client with a shared common data availability hub, actually. So I think we at the SysLab is working towards that direction together with effort like Zero Layers and Polyhydra. So the works combined could probably contribute a lot to this direction. Yeah.
So, so the interoperability or the relationship between each layer 2 is kind of very tough topic. But let's say, so first of all, I'm not coming from Polygon, but Polygon CDK allows each layer 2 that is built on the CDK allows to have shared liquidity that allows each layer 2 to access to the point of the liquidity, so that each layer 2 doesn't need to compete about getting a liquidity. So the kind of stuff will be allowed for layer 2, but still the competition will be more and more happen and harder. And this gonna be similar to the competition among layer 1s. So like some of them are gone, some of them are widely adopted, and then right now it's only some of them, right? So layer 2 will be also experience like similar history that layer 1 got experienced. But it may be because of existing of the layer 1 and then the technology innovation, like the competition will be more like in gentle way, or there are some of the innovation that layer 2 can be work together or collaborated by some of the layer, like liquidity or data availability or like some of the consensus. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Sure. I think as we get seeing more L2s and different kind of advantage or focus sectors, I would say, like personally, I think the industry is still quite small. So we will see all these different solutions. They have to build their own advantages, and so the focus areas where we actually work together to build towards the vision that with all the features or the focus areas, that we partner together. Like no matter it's liquidity or maybe it's data availability or different features. And after all the users or maybe different institutions, and they comes in for their own demands and for specific segments. So, and it always needs to go beyond rather than we just only goes for cost effective. But we also need their own advantage as well. And we, like for Mantle, that we build for long-term sustainability and also actively partner with different chains and cross-chain protocols partners as well, like Acceler and also like Ton Foundations. And with all these kind of partners, that we try to build visions that we contribute to the fundamentals of not only building like our own network, but also to push on the adoptions on the user side or different features that we want to group that together. And while we have our own advantage, but we can connect it and also offer a seamless on-chain solutions and experience for all different users so that we can push more onto the mass adoptions and where we can see more users coming in and where eventually the technology will be a thing and in more different use cases and also like all over the world as well.
I agree. Interoperability between layer 2s or layer 1s or whatever is a must. It's not by choice. I mean, let me put this in the different perspective. Let me put this in the user perspective where users have to jump from one network to the other, paying all these kind of gas fees. They have to learn how to do things over and over again. That's not a very good user experience. And that's something we shouldn't forget. I mean, all the products that should be facing client, you should always think of what's best for the users. And having different chains everywhere and not being connected in between, not a good thing. And that's something we really have to focus. We really have to always go back to the client's need. We have to really listen to the customers. Like you mentioned, the blockchain industry won't survive without more people coming into the industry and enjoying the technology as a whole. But fragmented like we are right now, not gonna make it. So I think there's gonna be more work and more collaboration, more interoperability, working together. So one of the effort that Optimism is making, Opti Labs is making, is the super chain idea. And I think that's like the way to go. That's the future of all networks out there.
Awesome. So I think I only have 2 more questions left, and the next one may be a faster question, but I think institutional adoption is something that is a huge topic right now. With the Bitcoin ETFs, and it almost seems like we're at a point in the crypto ecosystem, in the crypto community, where widespread adoption is maybe about to happen. And the conversation has always been about, once these institutions come online, they start using crypto, that's it. Like the whole world is going to start accepting crypto as this legitimate use case. So specifically talking about layer 2, how do you guys anticipate maybe some ways that large institutions will be utilizing these layer 2 technologies?
So this is also the case from Japan, but large institutions cannot be come to Web3 or crypto without proper regulations, right? Then in Japan, like last week, the government announced to change the tax-related, crypto-related tax regulation in the positive way, so that like more enterprise institutions can hold a crypto asset. So that kind of like positive regulation or crypto-friendly government will allow institutions to come to crypto, and then when they come, then obviously their option is Bitcoin or Ethereum. They will not choose other options because of the history, and they also know that Ethereum or Bitcoin is obviously, but Bitcoin or Ethereum is the chain. So, and then when they consider about user experiences, they need to choose layer 2. So here, layer 2 will allow institutions to come to Web3, and then mass adoption happened.
So, well, in my view, is that actually adoption for institutions require a lot of educations. Yeah. So a lot of institutions right now, I mean, like they're just touching the surface of blockchain, right? They are trying to actually figure out blockchains in the image of what they really understand, which is not what crypto and blockchain is about, because crypto and blockchain is about disruption. So actually, I think for mass adoption or for institutions to do it, they should actually have people that have the understanding of the blockchain and how it create a new systems, a new way, more creative ways to solve problems they have, rather than just creating an image of the old system in the blockchain, which what we are seeing right now. So, well, the other problem is regulation, right? So, I mean, blockchain is still young by development, right? So it should be in a way that is more a discussion with regulatory rather than like a strict rule, because that will actually stifle the innovation of blockchain and to create a solution that actually may solve their problems in the future, right? So I believe education is important. So in my experience, I talk to institutions. I mean, we are focusing on like pushing adoption in government tech in institutions. Like we talk to so our partners like consultant like Deloitte and all these companies. I mean, all these companies are the companies that all these big institutions trust. But unfortunately, most of the people within the organization are not, I would say, that well versed in blockchains, and then also that they are actually sort of a closed mind. I mean, they really try to fit whatever they know in the blockchain rather than the other way around. So I think that we must break through in that to see actually mass adoption of the blockchain, in institution. Yeah.
I agree to all of you guys. What are you guys saying? Regulation, definitely something that government has to work for in order for large institutions to actually accept what's out there. Education-wise, I agree. One of the things that also large institutions face is the privacy. They have problem with putting the transactions in an open world because they're not used to it. They're not used to that concept, and that's something. That's why when they start talking to the blockchain companies about using the technology, they're worried if what they're doing on chain will be public. Of course, it's going to be public. So they have to really overcome. Well, I think education comes in that sense. They have to really overcome they have to really understand the philosophy behind the blockchain. That's something. Well, as a L2 company, we have to work for, and the larger institutions have to work together.
I think there's as we other panelists mentioned, that legislations, educations, then we can see there's quite a difference in the demand in traditional institutions and as a crypto company, or we're building L2s. We're here to build solutions to solve some problems, while if for traditional institutions, they may look into more on their main business affections, or maybe when they look into the cost, or also when they calculate on the legal risk, on the balancing on the risk return. Is not sometimes maybe they need more extra efforts to contribute to build some actual like proof of concepts or maybe even adoptions, while they may face more risk on the legal side, and also like maybe company strategy, where there's sometimes which this kind of adoptions which at the end did not come through, which where obviously most of them knows a lot about crypto, or maybe they knows about layer 2 a lot of different technologies. But at the end, in institutional level, the scale is quite different. Even our whole industry, the crypto industry, is not really that high in scale in comparatively to not only stock markets or traditional like regional markets or even country markets. So in such sense, most of the situation that they may do not think that it would have such demand and also to balance the risk that they're going to put their efforts rather than they just continue on their traditional way or to push their kind of adoptions. For example, like in gaming industry, like where you just sell in-game tools and as you mentioned, like transparency, where users at the end, of course, user may find that this is really interesting to have such technology and innovative way to make use of their game and also bringing interoperability with other games as well. But at the end, some institutions may find it would be more risky and very often that if they get into the areas where we're building and where the legislation is not very complete, they are facing even more important legal risks which may affect their main business as well. So I think as we can see more legislations and regional efforts also from the governments and large institutions to push it together, then it's still quite early stage right now. So we will see more adoption or trial, like for in a sandbox environment or like proof of concept in this institution, and eventually we'll move to adoptions on that.
Amazing. And for the final question, wrapping up, just looking into the future, because I love ending on a future note. What are you guys most excited about for the world of Layer 2? It could be, what are you guys building that you're really excited about? Or it could just be in general about the crypto world that you guys just most looking forward to in the next year or the next 5 years or next 10 years. So very open-ended question, but just wanted to hear what are you guys most excited about the future?
Hello? Yep, so maybe I'll take it. So I think there's two areas that we are very excited about. It's actually AI and AGI, and then also like building a true solution to scale blockchain for real world problems. So right now, blockchain haven't really reached the I would say that they haven't really reached the area where you can see a lot of practical use case. Like maybe gaming is one that actually you can really see some practical right now. I mean, other than that, a lot of infrastructures are still at a concept or POC stage where they are figuring out how to find a real use case. So I think the development from now onwards for the next few years, definitely like integrating AI and then finding real world use case for blockchain. Yeah, this is what we are, it seems like we are trying to push and we are excited about, yeah.
I agree. I was going to say the same thing. Real world application. I'm going to say this again. Real world application. Blockchain is standing quite far from the real world. That's the biggest problem I think that we're having. It complicates everything. It's difficult for users to really learn about blockchain. It's difficult for users to create a wallet and move assets from one to the other. And the real world app, if you download I don't know, the bank app, it's much easier. Well, banks they're known for making really bad user experience apps, but it's much easier than blockchain wallet. So world application is something I look for. Like you mentioned, gaming has come the closest one that comes to the real world application, I think. And the finance, I guess, would be the next thing that might be closer to the real world.
I think to me, ultimately at the end would be solutions that comes into our daily lives, which would be core demand for users or maybe like for general public to adopt the technology, which becomes their daily lives, where to input it into their lifestyle. And gaming by far, maybe not as well. Really interesting to see more innovative or sustainable way to adopt it. Ultimately, like maybe our daily lives, using washing machines or maybe all the devices, we just have all this kind of technology to link together, just put it on chain, which is really exciting, the passion that we can see. Maybe but to be honest, I don't think it will happen like a near future, like a longer future. I hope that live longer to see it, maybe.
Ultimately, blockchain is a technology to visualize or to realize the value in the digital world. So digital world is growing rapidly, and then it can be, or it will be, it must be bigger than the physical world. So blockchain should be there behind of the digital world. That is what I think it's gonna be happening in 10 years.
Awesome. Please give a round of applause to the panelists.